Hey y'all. Okay, so I was talking with a friend earlier today, and we stumbled on top of a topic that kind of got me like sharing an opinion on something, and this probably won't be completely popular. And I guess I say that every time I share an opinion that no, this ain't gonna be popular. I'm a little more old-fashioned in my thinking than a lot of people my age. So I think that's probably why I feel like a lot of my opinions won't be popular. But I'm gonna share anyways. So I see something in the chronic illness community a lot that just really bugs me, like to the point where I'm still in the groups, but I've like unfollowed the feed to where I have to like go purposely into the groups to look at posts instead of just getting them in my news feed. I see a whole lot of, I'm just gonna start off by saying like entitlement almost. So I'm gonna stop there for a minute, and if you're new to any of my my page, I have over 35 diagnoses. I'm still doing some like I have a lot of doctors saying, "Oh, you need to explore this or this. I think there's more going on." I am often pretty much bed bound for days or weeks at a time, where I just get up and use the bathroom, eat something, poke my head outside just for a breath of fresh air, and go back to bed, okay? I mean, I'm not saying what I'm saying from unsympathetic to disability ear, okay? I'm not saying that. I'm speaking from somebody who is chronically disabled. I have a lot going on. So I'm not saying this from somebody who doesn't understand disability. I have children that are also sick. So I'm saying this not only as somebody disabled, but somebody with disabled children. I see a lot of people in the chronic illness community that have an attitude of like their family and their friends should just constantly keep everything about them in their forefront of their mind. Oh, well, I'm disabled and they know my health condition is this, so they should have not brought this to the party. They should have not brought this. Oh, I mean, like, there is an extent where that should be true, okay? To a degree. But when it happens, it's a mistake. They're not trying to kill you. They're not trying to maim you. I mean, people aren't being evil, okay? People are human. They're gonna make a mistake. So you should not flip out. Don't be psycho. Don't be ridiculous, and don't have a toddler tantrum. Accept that it was a mistake, and people are going to have mistakes. I mean, you're not perfect. So chill out, okay? I see a lot of that kind of thing. I see a lot of, well, I mean, they're sick, but they don't understand that their sick isn't the same as your sick. Okay, you know what? Maybe that's true. But it doesn't make their feelings any less, valid. Don't minimize their feelings. I mean, good grief. How psycho do you have to be to minimize somebody else's feelings just because you might have it worse? Are you kidding me? Like, how do people not see how awful that is to be like that? I just see a whole lot of like really bratty, entitled behavior. Just thinking that their needs and their feelings and their disabilities and all of that should just be the center of attention and the focus of everything, and that it should come before and above and around and everybody else. Well, here's a reality. At one point in time, you were not diagnosed. And there's a lot of people that's around you that probably has stuff that's not diagnosed. A lot of people Do not talk about their symptoms and how they feel and what they're going through. Sometimes it's because they care about everybody else and they feel like their stuff is less significant no matter how awful it is. So maybe they're not diagnosed. Maybe you don't know what they're going through. Maybe their stuff is just as bad or worse and they don't want any attention on themselves. So maybe the person that you're minimizing feels just as bad and you're sitting there minimizing them. Maybe the very thing you're sick of other people doing to you, you're doing to them. Some people grow up in an environment or a schoolyard or something where they saw somebody made fun of for being sick, or they heard somebody like degraded or whatever, and that stuck with them, so they won't go to the doctor and they won't tell even their closest, their spouses, their parents, their siblings, their best friend, whatever. They won't tell them how they feel, no matter how sick or how much pain. Some people are like that. So maybe this person that you just know doesn't feel as bad as you do. Maybe they do. Do not act like your stuff that you're going through is just the worst. Okay? And you know something? I've known people who have just depression or anxiety, and they have not been able to cope with it to a degree that they ended up actually suffering and being more disabled than some of the people I know with 30 or more physical disabilities and no mental illnesses, or they had maybe they had depression and anxiety too, you know. And I've even seen people with physical disabilities and bipolar anxiety and depression, and they handled it better than the people I knew who had just depression. I've seen a lot of people in these chronic illness groups expect so much out of other people because they thought that they had it better than they do, that their diagnoses were less significant, or that they weren't diagnosed at all, but they thought maybe they had a little bit of depression, or, you know, they've, you know, just got a little bit of arthritis or something, you know what I mean? And they downplay it. And they're like, they have no idea what I'm going through. And it's like, no, maybe they don't. And maybe you don't know what they're going through either, so quit. I have seen so much toxicity. And, you know, I have a lot of days where, like, Johnny tells me to stay in bed and rest. And I'll hear or see something that needs done around the house, or that the kids need something or whatever, and I'll get up and I'll do it. And I've done this out of surgery. And, you know, he'll come home and he's like, do you realize how dangerous it is for you to have done that? And I'm like, yeah, but other stuff needs, and it matters, and I'm not the only. I could die in some of the situations that I've done, or be very seriously injured. But how can you know that somebody else needs something? Like, how can you know that there's something that needs done out around you? Yeah, all right, there's days where I don't. I just don't, because it's not that significant. But, yeah, sometimes you just can't. But you don't ignore the fact that others have stuff going on and just assume that your stuff is worse, even if it is worse. That attitude, truly, that attitude is what is so toxic. And when your family and friends are trying to communicate to you their need, you don't do that. You just don't. Quit with that toxic attitude. There's nothing, I'm going to use myself for the example on this, because that's just the right way to go. There's nothing about me that is so significant and so special that I matter more than a friend, a family, a stranger, my animals' needs. There's nothing about me that is so special and so significant. So why do you guys feel like there is something so special and significant and wonderful about yourselves that you feel like you can do that to your friends and family? When did you, just because you got disabled, when did you become so holy. When did that happen? At what point in time in your life did you just turn your brain on and say, oh, I'm disabled, so I'm better than they are. My needs are more. When did that happen inside your head? I'm telling you now, you need to reverse it. There is nothing about you, me, or any other person that is so special or significant. There isn't. We're all unique. We all have a special. Yes, absolutely. But none of us are that special. Not one of us. None of us. Reality check. Humility check. It's needed. So yeah, like I said, this probably isn't going to be very popular. But I don't care what is wrong with one of you. I don't care if you're on your deathbed. If you can hand a glass to somebody because they need water too, do it. Not to a super severe level, but I definitely needed that reality check about 6 years ago. And for several years before that, and I wish somebody would have given it to me. I wasn't like rotten, but in my last marriage, I didn't understand that just because my health issues really were really bad, that other people's really affected them too. I guess it was mostly towards my ex-husband. Like, he would really be wore down and not feel well. And yeah, my stuff was chronic and it was miserable. But if we were sick at the same time, he pulled the weight of the burden. And I just didn't understand that, like, maybe he really felt as bad or worse. Therefore, we both should get up. So, reality check. Maybe that other person in your life needs you to get up at the same time. If you feel bad and they feel bad, get up. They are. Do what you can, even if it's on a lesser scale than them. Show that you're at least trying. Show that you are considering, at least offer. And let them, don't let it be some pathetic half offer. Like, stand up. If you're physically able to stand up, stand up. So what can I do? What can I do to help? How can I support you? Give incidences throughout time to show that you actually mean it, so they know that it's not an empty thing. If you can't stand up and do something, is there a bill that you needed me to pay? Can I do it over the phone? Is there a list that needs to be made? Is there something I can do from where I am that would benefit you? Find out what you can do in the capacity that you are capable of doing, whatever it may be, because I promise you, if you're not in a coma, there is something. Do you need me to lay here and watch something with you? Do you need is there a back rub? Is there some lotion you need me to put on? Find out what kind of acts of service you can do for that person. Find out. Stop with the holier than thou. Stop acting like you are just the end all be all. When somebody has an accident, don't assume they did it on purpose. When a family member who isn't with you every single day forgets that you're allergic to scents and they come in with a perfume because you know that how dare they do something else in their day that they wanted to smell good for, and then they stopped over and they forgot. Well, you know something? I'm sure they weren't trying to kill you, really, and you are not going to be the thought in everybody's mind. You're just not. That's borderline abusive to treat people that way. Quit. Like, for real. When you expect everybody, not everybody, but your friends and family, I don't care if you tell them something about your health every single day. Do not expect them to cement it in their brain and it to be on hand. I don't care if it's your spouse. Don't expect it to be at the top of the brain, that particular thing, every single time. It needs to be. That's asking too much of people. It just is. It is. So, yeah, it's toxic. Don't be toxic to people. Nobody is going to be meeting all your needs all the time and making sure that you are at the top of their brain. It's just not. It's not realistic. Just quit. And I'm seeing this a lot. Like, you guys are giving disabled people a really bad rep. And stop it. You're, like, making me, like, hate the disabled crowd. Like, you really are. Like, you guys are acting like spoiled little brats, and it's disgusting behavior. Just quit. I am disabled. I couldn't work if I wanted to. I've tried at-home jobs that I enjoyed that were easy, and I still couldn't do them because of my disabilities. I am just as disabled. I know I am. I get it. I've been this way since I was a little kid. All you guys that are talking about, oh yeah, I wish I could go back to before. I don't have a before. So I really do get it. I get it. I get it greatly, deeply. I've been this way since I was tiny. I don't even remember life without feeling sick and in pain all the time. I don't have any memories at any age of my life. So it's not that I don't understand disability. What I don't understand is being toxic and abusive and demanding and acting like a little brat because of disabilities. So please, just quit.